If you look at it in terms of pure inheritance, you've inherited dance from your mom.
Sure.
And you've inherited performance in terms of acting from your father. Would that be correct to say? But your mom was an actor as well.
I hope I have.
Huh? You have.
Yeah.
You have.
I was more happy about getting my hair from my mom.
Okay.
And getting my acting chops from dad. I was like, Dad, I don't want a hair. Because you were semi-bald at 30. And he used to keep messing with me. He was like, अभी तो तू हीरो बन गया है. मैं तो एक्टर हूँ. मैं तो अलग-अलग तरह के कैरेक्टर्स प्ले कर सकता हूँ. तू तो हीरो है. अगर तेरे बाल उड़ गए तो तुझे काम ही नहीं मिलेगा. He used to mess with me, dude.
Which is true for a lot of heroes, but you can weave your hair and stuff. I mean,
now at that time,
it
was a big deal, right? If you lose your hair, you lose your hair. Now people have started doing all kinds of.
Nobody would have known that you are Pankaj Kapur's son, and you are aware of that, right?
Very few people knew about it. Yeah, I was aware of that. Yeah.
You're obviously aware.
I was actually very proud of the fact that I was doing it without really being known as an established actor's kid, or actually calling people who your father has worked with, because that kind of gives you an in. None of that really happened with me, because
was that by choice though?
I was living with my mom. I was very loyal. I was like, I don't want to, that happens. So I was like, I know I'm, that's my dad, and we had a great equation. But I was no, I'm going to do it on my own, Mom. I don't want to tell anybody anything. Teenagers are like that,
You should be. That's the only time you can be.
Quite like,
so was it like kind of an estranged relationship in some form?
Estranged
like in terms of a rebellion?
No, there was no rebellion as such. But of course, my father was not in Delhi, right? So I would see it probably once a year till I turned 10 and I shifted to Bombay. Once I shifted to Bombay, I had more time in and around. At that time, plane tickets and all were very expensive, and then you had to take long train journeys. So by nature of distance, the interaction was limited, But once I came to Bombay and I started staying here, we kind of found our
Why did you move to Bombay?
My mom shifted here. She wanted to do movies.
Okay.
So she's not going to leave me there. She got me here with her.
Yeah. Right. So when growing up, did you see Karamchand, for instance? Because
of course.
Did. And so that's my dad and he's really funny.
I had a traumatic experience.
Why?
Because, my dad came to Delhi and Karamchand had come out, and I was a kid. I was like, I don't even remember how much of it I watched, because I was busy playing cricket and chilling with friends and doing my own thing, right? I was quite young. And he was like, Beta, I'm going to take you out today, this, that, and all. And he takes me out to Nirula's in Delhi.
Which Nirula's?
I don't remember which one.
Okay.
I think it was Connaught Place.
Okay.
I think the one in Connaught Place, one of them. There were so many there.
Yeah, there were quite a few.
I was too young. I didn't know kidhar wala tha. So anyways, we went there and we were eating some nice food and all. And suddenly, people start crowding around him. And then one by one, people start bringing gajars. And then I have this memory, wide angle shot of lots of people with a gajar. Ye aap hamare haath se kha lijiye. And my dad is a very reserved person.
Yeah, he is.
He's a damn serious actor. Even when he's doing comedy, he takes it very seriously. So he was like, ये क्या कर रहे हैं आप लोग? ये क्या कर रहे हैं? मैं अपने बेटे के साथ पिज़्ज़ा खा रहा हूँ. And we had to run away from there, dude. He held my hand and he said, Beta, let's run, because there were 30 people with gajars. There was this weird king people have, man. They wanted to feed my dad gajar, because he used to have that gajar. He used to eat gajar.
Yeah, that's what Karamchand
And that had become some kind of a thing. So everybody wanted to feed him the bloody gajar, dude. So I remember I was just like, this is pathetic. I don't want to go out with him anymore. Because it was a really...
Oh, were you not a fan of the show?
No, but I don't want to be surrounded by 100 people ka crowd. I mean, imagine a 6-7-year-old kid, So I was traumatized. I was like, Dad, I ain't going out with you anymore. Let's just eat at home. So that's just a strong memory I have of Karamchand. But of course, it was such an iconic show. Even now, when I go, there's so many people who meet me and they're like, हाँ आप ठीक है, लेकिन आपके पापा का जो करमचंद हम देखते थे बचपन से, So television had, especially the stuff that was popular, and that was, I think, the golden era of television, where some great work was happening. I think the penetration of the platform was huge. And even now, when people have these conversations about movies versus OTT, and you should be seen here, and will you be a movie star if you're on, I find it all very funny, because I'm like, I think the audience doesn't think like that. You need to make the right product for the right platform, and if they love you, they just bloody love you, man. It doesn't matter where they consume you.
Right.
I mean, so I felt that very early. I was like, my dad's a huge bloody star. Doesn't matter if he does more television than movies and that there are movie stars. He was hugely popular.
Yeah, which is why I didn't ask you about all the other stuff he's done, which was in the art house space. Ek daughter ki maut and stuff. Because you're too young to be following. I've
seen all that.
You have.
You'll be surprised. I've seen all that. Rui Ka Boj, Ek Doctor Ki Maut. Jaane Bhi To Yaaro is my all-time favorite movie. I bloody love that movie. I've seen all of his.
But that's not the career that you choose for yourself. I remember reading an interview of your dad long time ago, and he said something to the effect of how, you're very street smart. You're very different from him. I wonder what he meant by that.
That was his perspective or understanding of me, right? He's a pure actor. So when I make a slightly more mainstream choice, he will feel that, oh, he thinks differently from how I think, right? So it's natural for him to feel like that. Yeah.
Because you're also very different personality types. Would that be correct to say? As people, are you very different?
My aspirations were my aspirations. He was born to a professor in Ludhiana. And his aspiration to be a film actor, I think, was far more kind of blasphemous, so to say, than for an actor's son to want to be a hero. I think that's a smaller kind of transition than what so he was actually the one in the family who broke out towards the arts, so to say. And he took that step of stepping away from a father who was a professor and then a principal, to choosing something, and that many years back, which was not necessarily at that time considered even a profession, so to say, right? It was unreasonable to think like that. Right. So he was the one who made it, and then my mom was a classical dancer, and then they gave me their DNA. So I mean, can I blame myself?
No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. You've had a fabulous life, but also you've had amazing struggles as well. I mean, you've spoken about how this whole barista in Lokhandwala, and there is a whole bunch of people who come from various parts of India trying to make it. I want to understand, because you did it your way in the sense of being one of them. You never made those calls, right? You were the same person listening to other people's stories, hoping that you'll land. You've apparently done 200.
Also, my dad was a very private person, so he didn't really have a huge social group of friends, and he would never ever. He thought it would probably not be self-respecting of him to pick up the phone and say, "Mere bete ko le lo," ya "Mere bete se mil lo." At that time, it was considered, at least with certain set of people who felt a certain way, that that's not right. I should not put pressure on somebody to meet you because you are my son, so to say, right? So I kind of, I had grown up in that kind of atmosphere where they had made it on their own merit. So I was very proud of the fact that my parents didn't come from a lineage of people doing the same thing, ki lawyer ka beta lawyer ban jayega, doctor ka beta doctor ban jayega, actor ka beta actor. It was not like that. Both, even my maternal side, my grandparents were journalists.
Right.
My grandfather and my grandmother used to write for Sputnik, which is a very, very famous magazine back there. Yeah. And they had
What language did they write in?
Russian.
Wow.
They would translate Russian to English, Russian to Urdu.
So your grandfather was like a proficient in Russian language?
Yes, he was. In fact, they've lived in Russia for a few years.
Do you know Russian?
I know Popuchka. You know what Popuchka means? It basically means what you're sitting on.
What do you mean?
Your ass.
I'm not, well.
And actually, Sasha is Russian for something. Sasha is a very common Russian name. So the word Sasha also came from...
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, so I want you to take us through that world of 2003 and a few years before that, when you are, I don't know why they use the word struggler only for actors. Nobody calls somebody a struggling doctor or a
but
struggling engineer.
It resonates with your feeling.
Yeah?
You really feel like you're struggling when you're wanting to.
It's a lot of rejection, right?
It's a lot of rejection, yeah. It's really hard, yeah.